Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. And today's game is pretty interesting, actually. This is from the Game Replays Open Season Number 1A tournament from the round of 16. And one of our writers over at GameReplays.org actually wanted this put down on the record books, actually, because it was a pretty interesting game, and I think they wanted to include it in a list of top games from that tournament. And so I figured, why the hell not? Let's take a look at that game today. So let's go ahead and get a look around. So first off, we are here on the two-player map, Seawall Frontier. Seawall Frontier, I think is actually the pronunciation. I don't know, man. I just do what other people do. And looking around, you can see it's dry, dusty, rocky, little clam shells or something. I don't know. And some adobe huts and general war accoutrements kind of scattered about here and there. Anyhow, let's take a look around and see who we're dealing with here. On the left-hand side, we have Mr. GuruSkippy commanding the Commando Knob. A fun-looking hero there. GuruSkippy, a talented player. He's in the 1950s range, I believe, for his skill rating, and he's in the top 25-ish section of the ladder. I like to just kind of throw those vague numbers out there because that thing changes all the time anyways. And on the right-hand side, controlling the red pieces today, as the Tech Marine, we have Mr. Jaracz. I'm going to call him Jaracz. I think that's how you pronounce it. Jaracz. Yeah, sure, why not? And Jaracz, again, he's in like 1970s range. He's in the top 20-ish, 25-ish. So these guys are very evenly matched. I think they're only one or two rungs down from each other on the ladder right now. So this was one of the games from their round of 16 match. Let's get this game started and see what happens here. Yeah, man, so... that was a pretty fun tournament, by the way, and there's another one coming up next week as well. Check out GameReplays.org. The reason why it's tournament number 1, it's season 1 rather, and then they have like A, B, C, D, E tournaments. So A tournament already happened, and that was a week or two ago, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of ordeal. And coming up pretty soon here, we have another one, another weekend of nothing but non-stop action. I think for the first one, I casted like 39 some odd games over the weekend. I think I'm going to cut back a little bit, maybe just do like the quarterfinals on next weekend. But, you know, it was a pretty fun tournament there. So a lot of good games out there. And unfortunately, we didn't get to cast all of them. So we get to go back through the record books and look around and see what's going on. Already, we can see sort of some interesting variety coming out of GuruSkippy. You can see he's got a second squad of sluggas out there right now. So double sluggas, one shooter squad. Meanwhile, Jaracz went for double scouts and is now finally getting a tack squad there. So already we can see the entirety of these forces in the center of the map right now. Throwing a stun bomb. Oh, and the stun bomb does in fact hit the running away Tech Marine, who is now going to be transitioned into a retreating away Tech Marine. Yes, there he goes. And he's out of there. So nice looking stun bombs coming out of the Commando Knob. As always, the ability to kind of manage that really well early game can give you some pretty decisive victories. I think while I was jibba-jabbing away up there, we had a nice little shootout here between the Shooter Boys and the Scout Squad. And now here's the wonderful early pressure that Orc has on this map. They can always come in and go for this wonderful timing attack on the power node. The power node just finished upgrading, and now we can see the Tech Marines are out here right now. Tech Marines kind of trying to get into some close combat with the Sluggas, and just kind of backing away, retreating away there. Ooh, that seemed like a little early for those Tactical Marines to be getting out of there. Maybe they felt like they were going to take a loss there pretty soon, but usually they can really beat into Slugga Boys pretty well there. Anyhow, a little bit of a misplaced stun bomb there, but that's fine. We can see the Tech Marine and the Scouts trying their best to kind of fight this off. But even with just the one Slugga Boy squad and the Commando Knob squad, GuruSkippy is doing quite well here. Looking more towards the north, we can see that the Slugga Boys up here are just chomping away at those Scouts, so that's looking pretty good. And it looks like maybe these Space Marines got a single kill on the way out there. I saw a dead Orc on the ground. And during all of that, another power generator went down. So the Commando Knob safely camouflaged away there, just kind of infiltrating around, trying to put some more pressure on that power node. But for the time being, power node defended. Defense goes to Jaracz. So Jaracz, now you can see the Tech Marine here has already been upgraded for his Artificer's armor. Lets him put down proximity mines. Interesting. I think he pretty much just wanted it for the health and health regen. But proximity mine's not bad either if you want to use them. Commando Knob now just pretty much tanking for his Shooter Boys, who are trying their best to inflict some casualties here. But you can see taking a little bit too much damage here. We do have double generators going up right now for Jaracz. Double generators already up for GuruSkippy. And we're moving kind of moving well along here. Ooh, a Luda Boy squad coming up right now for GuruSkippy. That's going to be pretty interesting. Definitely not a bad choice. No sign of Assault Space Marines yet, but he's got to be careful. That would be a nice direct counter for it. Unfortunately, sometimes when you pick units like that in Dawn of War 2. It's kind of a little bit of Rochambeau, kind of rock, scissors, paper style in terms of whether or not your opponent's going to be at the exact same moment building the counter to it. Kind of hard to tell. By the way, these Slugga boys here are being upgraded for the Burners right now. Burners going to be pretty good at gen bashing, but I think his time for gen bashing, for the time being at least, is over until he gets some more presence on the field. Looters here, however, will certainly help with that. Their suppression, very useful early game there, especially since he didn't get double shooters. He doesn't really want to have to use aiming what stat on his shooters, just because of the fact that, well, first off, he doesn't have big shooters on his shooter boys. That's one reason. The other reason is because it just reduces their DPS hugely. So here we can see wonderful AoE suppression going off right now. Unfortunately, the Slugga boys never really got in there that close, although the flamethrower is having a couple of hits there. Yeah, it's doing pretty good, actually, getting 2 model kills. Kind of forced the scout on out of there. And now, oh, potentially a beautiful looking stun bomb in the middle of all of that. And it only hits the Tech Marine. Oh, well. Good split, though, by the way. That was a simultaneous split left, down, and up between those 3 units. The Looters, however, are set back up again. And, God, I love the animation on Looters when they fire. It's just like, it's so chaotic and orky. It looks great. Tech Marine, however, he's behind nice heavy cover here, just kind of shooting away, just stalling, really. Nothing too much going on. Ooh, and buying time just a little bit here for the Scouts. The Scouts were just, oh, that's unfortunate. Was that the, oh, okay. Let's try to see here. Was that the Sergeant model? No, it's not. The Sergeant's still alive. Okay. Anyhow, the Sergeants were getting a nice flank there. You can see Sergeant is a great upgrade for the Scouts because that does possess the detection upgrade as well as grenades and stuff, which is fun. But detection, having a passive detecting unit, always useful when you've got a commando knob kind of creeping around on the battlefield. He can get kind of annoying sometimes later on. So Slugga boys right now charging on inputting suppression on this Tech Marine, who's going to have to back away from that. And we do have the Looters once again setting up very nicely here, even though he's shooting at his feet right now. There we go. The animation is caught back up. Just going to kind of set all these guys back to crawling at a snail's pace here. Very good positioning of this piece here. Just gives him really good strong central control. Makes it hard for units to move back and forth. And that sort of thing. One of my favorite expressions. I apologize. I have mannerisms that I use constantly. So we can see here that the Shooter Boys and the Slugga Boys are just kind of doing their thing. Shooter Boys going to have to retreat. I really do kind of wish the Shooter Boys had a big shooter, but I guess, you know, to each his own. Anyhow, Commando Knob doing its thing here. We do have a shotgun upgrade on these guys, as you can see by that high explosive shot that just rang out, knocking back the Looters. And buying a little bit of time for that Tech Marine to get around and engage them in melee. Yes, there he goes. Now he, in turn, is going to buy time for all of the Scouts and the Tech Marines. Tech Marines are going to be capping this point. Scouts moving up, throwing hand grenades in the middle of all of that, but a stun bomb also being thrown in the middle of all the Space Marines. They're going to have to retreat away for the time being. Burners and Sluggas moving into the center, and I think that's going to go back to GuruSkippy. So the score right now is 472 points to GuruSkippy, 395 to Jaracz. And it is about to be a 3-cap as well. As soon as he gets rid of this stupid power node also. This power node has just been kind of preventing him from capping this point for quite a while. As you can see, that power node does actually provide a nice little buffer. But perhaps we're going to be seeing some Slugga boys move out. And by the way, we do have a nice little breadcrumb trail here of proximity mines being laid by the Tech Marine. However, none of those got hit just yet. I meant to kind of point that out when he was putting them down. I would much rather almost always see proximity mines along this avenue of attack here. Almost everybody does that. They come this way. Very few people come in through the middle because the middle is subject to being attacked from the top. If you attack from the bottom, you can only ever be attacked from the top, so that's fine. Pretty good looking central control moving out here, though. You can see the Looters just kind of shutting down any motion whatsoever on this side of the battlefield. Oh, and there we go. Discovering the proximity mines. Just going to go ahead and retreat away from that now that his units are at such low hit points. Looks like took a single casualty, wrecked everybody else there. And, ooh, the Knob just finished upgrading for that squad, too, so that's okay. Commando Knob capping the top point right now. Things are looking pretty good for GuruSkippy. Again, he's reestablishing his 3-cap over the battlefield. 314 was the score just then. One of my favorite numbers, of course, because it's pi. But, of course, that one flying by because it is a 3-cap, or at least about to be a 3-cap. Down south, we can see the Slugga boys and the Shooter boys now just kind of ripping around this Tech Marine here. We got a nice little combination going on there. But what with the Scout Squad moving up with the high explosive shot, and the Space Marines finally coming in. Yes, the Looters are going to have to get out of there. You see, right as they retreated, that high explosive shot went off. pretty good timing there. Now the Tech Marines are moving back. So for the time being, it looks like a little tiny bit of central control is going to be restored here for Jaracz. However, he's going to have trouble holding onto it momentarily when those units reinforce and get back out here. We do have a pretty strong-looking Slugger Boy squad that has both a knob and burners. And then we do have a Weird Boy in the field right now, too. So the first Tier 2 unit is out there. Oh, and a wonderful use of the Over Dare ability. The Weird Boy, of course, can fling Orc units to a target location. Great way to just kind of make anybody into a jumping unit right there. And look at how badly they just nailed those Tactical Marines. The Tactical Marines taking 2 casualties. That was a really, really good use of Over Dare. Hopefully we'll be seeing some more of that. Ooh, a little bit of suppression going on as they hit those proximity mines once again. Zot. Sorry, that's my annotation of events there. Warpath is upgraded as well for the Weird Boy. And here we go. Everybody pile on the poor Tech Marine in the middle. Tech Marine's just kind of wandering away. Unfortunately, he hasn't really been all that effective this game so far. Proximity mines, meh, he's tanked a little bit. Okay, we'll have to see if he's going to shine a little bit in later game. More towards the north, we can see the scouts with their sergeant are capping the top. But it doesn't matter. Slugger Boy's recapping the center right now. So it's about to be 2-1 pretty soon once all those caps finish. And meanwhile, we have Tier 2 is already finished, and let's take a look at what Jaracz got. So he does have his heavy plasma team on the field right now. Now, that is a really good idea for exactly the reason you just saw right there. Really great at knocking back big blobs of Orc units, and a Psyker on the field as well. So we do have the Librarian out there right now. We're probably going to be seeing him doing some pretty good AoE. He has a Veil of Time. The combination Veil of Time, you can see he does have the Tome of Time upgrade. Veil of Time and Devastator can be devastating. Oh, and there's that AoE. And now he's just going to go charging on into close combat. Anyhow, Veil of Time on a heavy weapons team removes its setup time, and they just sprint around and just fire instantly. Very brutal. So good combo there, but instead he's going to opt to just have this Psyker just run around and poke everybody with his power sword ever so gently. More towards the center, we can see just a little bit of firing going back and forth. Weird Boy has been having fun pretty much all game knocking back this Tech Marine. Bit of a miss there with the plasma gun, but whatever, man. It's all good. And now Mr. Librarian is just going to go ahead and cap the central point right now. So having that Librarian heavy plasma cannon come out of the field out of nowhere did a lot of good for Jaracz's presence in the middle field right now. And we can see, however, that GuruSkippy, other than having grabbed his Weird Boy, is just going to go ahead and move straight on to Tier 3 right now. So he is just teching like a fiend. We almost had some proximity mines there, but not going to happen. There goes the plasma shot once again, and oh, he retreated back away from it, so that's fine. But that is going to be a constant presence in the battlefield. Over Dare used once again. There go the Orcs flying into combat right now. You can see likely using what I think is Swamp 'em. I have a real hard time identifying Orc abilities, if you guys haven't noticed that. That's because they all look like freaking yellow circles, though, so that's fine. So anyhow, we can see that the Slugger Boy is doing a great job chasing away the Devastators. Meanwhile, more towards the center, we had a little bit of a skirmish going on right now between, oh yeah, it looks like the Librarian was beating on all of the Slugger Boys here, but meanwhile, the Luda squad was taking care of business. So